So you like old cars, do you? Well, how's this for a little cave? Look at that, 1902 Wolesley. And if that's not cool enough, a 1901 Benz, the oldest Benz in South Africa. And in case you haven't figured out by now, we're at a car club. This is the Crankhandle Club of Cape Town, one of the biggest car clubs in Cape Town. And we're in their clubhouse in Myburgh, which is technically where I was born. Well, not in the clubhouse, obviously. And it is an old fire station. It obviously have a place for refreshments here. Give the grand tour. Morning. Lots of bits of memorabilia. Lots of interesting stuff. Night sleeve valve engine. Working model. That's pretty cool. Lots of little bits. Maudsley engine, 1908. How's that for a collection of vintage hubcaps? BSA Bantam. And yeah, this is a Barwell engine. It's an overhead camshaft, South African designed and built engine. Sadly, never went into production. This is the prototype. More hubcaps. This is the monthly Crankhandle Club's seniors meeting. I'm obviously far too young to be here, but I'm accompanying my dad. Now both these cars, the 1902 Wolesley and the 1901 Benz, are fully operational. In fact, they've just been up to the George Motor Show a couple of weeks ago, so that's kind of cool. So at the monthly seniors meeting, a car is brought in by a member, and a presentation is given and a talk on the specific car, and we never know what it's going to be until the day. So we're just waiting for it to arrive to see what we're going to find out more about today. But yeah, people come in their classic cars. It's a classic car club for all classics of every shape and description, so it's not one particular mark. And I'll give you a little walk around outside. We don't expect to find a Jaguar low drag coupe here in Cape Town, but here it is. The chassis is a Series 3 E-Type Jag with a complete aluminium body low drag coupe from an organization in England. So that was bought in England and then fitted here. Beautiful Mark II Jag in the right color. MGTC. Original, unrestored, one owner from new. So you may think it looks a bit ratty, but hey, it's all original and the owner is keeping it that way. And yeah, drives it all over the place. Sunbeam Alpine in beautiful white. I must say, I don't think I've seen a white one, but looks fantastic. Now all you Toronto Triumph Club folk out there, look away now. This was my drive for this morning, all the way from Langebaan. Dad's 1968 MGC Roadster. And I must say, I quite enjoy driving it. It's not quite as refined as a Triumph TR6, but that beautiful six-cylinder engine really does transform the car. MGBs tend to be a bit rough and raughty, whereas this has got a sort of a bit of an elegant sound and feel about it. Yeah, lovely car. Because living in Cape Town, unfortunately, comes with some compromises. So property security is a big issue. I'll just show you here some random homes, all electric wired up, spikes all around the home, armed response. So yeah, safety, it's not quite the same as England. And bear in mind, this is quite a nice neighborhood. In fact, this is a very nice neighborhood, and this is what you have to do and have to live with. Well, hello again. Today you find us at Chateau Grace. This is Mom and Dad's house. Thought we'd just come and show you around the best feature of the house. Now, Dad has recently downsized and moved into a little cottage, 2-bedroom cottage with a double garage, and he's renting another garage, so there is space for some cars. So this is really our last opportunity to come here and have a look at the family house as it's about to go on the market and be sold. Now, just to give you an idea, when this house was built, it was 27 years ago that it was built, and it was the only house in this entire neighborhood, which gives you an idea of how quickly Langebaan has expanded over that time. It's in a little neighborhood called Myburgh Park, and I'll show you a sort of central view to give you an idea of how big Myburgh Park is now. And if you think this was the first house here, it really has expanded. So this was designed by Mom and Dad, and of course it was built with classic cars in mind. It's built on a hill, which means you can come in here, drive around, and there is garaging for quite a few cars here. Apologize for the noise in the background. So we have a very large outdoor carport here. So you could store a car outside here, and it is nice and high, so it's good for storing boats and things as well. But if you have a look here along the front, we have parking for 4 cars indoors, and each of the parking underground is large enough for significantly big car or 2 smaller cars. So let me take you inside. We have Darnie's car parked here temporarily being stored. But if you look at this side of the garage, I mean, this is enough to store 2 cars. In fact, at one stage, Dad had an MGB GT here and an Austin 7 and his workbench in the front and shelving up on the side. And then this is a fairly large parking place as well, enough to park most cars. And where Darnie's car is here, this is where the 1958 Pontiac used to be parked, with plenty of room to spare. Nice big parking lots inside here. And tucked away here a little bit in the distance is another little extra room, big enough for a small car. This has had an Austin 7 in it. It's had a Frog Eye Sprite in it. I think it's had an MGB in it as well, or MGC in it as well. So you've got a good amount of storage here. Whoever buys this house, well, I guess you could make these into rooms if you wanted to, or good storage space for cars. Hi, Dad. I'm just filming the video. And how many years have you been here, Dad? 27 years.
5.
And
25 years.
when you built the house, this was the only house in the entire neighborhood.
Yeah, this one was, they were busy building this one.
Yeah. So you had a clear view across of the lagoon there. I'll take you upstairs into the balcony and show you the view. And this is the real money shot here, out in the top little balcony. Upstairs we have the main bedroom. And look at that lovely view over the Langebaan lagoon. Beautiful. It was even more beautiful 27 years ago because none of these buildings were here. And over time, Langebaan has really exploded. Apart from being a lovely town, a lot of people are moving from north of the country in the other provinces down to the Western Province, because the Western Provinces is still a fully functioning government that is not bankrupt, which is more than can be said for all the other provinces. And of course, there are big security concerns in the other provinces. At the moment, Western Province is still pretty good. So, Dad, you've moved into a nice little manageable cottage.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit sad to see the house go. But lots of space for the next owner to park cars.
Good memories, good memories.
Very good memories, yeah.
Good memories.
And I've very kindly agreed to take the 58 Pontiac off your hands to free up some storage space.
Storage.
Well, I'm now in a secret location. Yet another secret lair. But this is Studebaker heaven. If you're into Studebakers, this is the place to come. See this fantastic race car, fully prepared for classic car racing. And on the left, this lovely 62 Studebaker Grand Turismo. Factory right-hand drive, as all cars are here, with manual transmission. That is, I must admit, is my favorite Studebaker. We have a lovely Studebaker Champ pickup truck on the far left, Studebaker Lark, questionable styling, but kind of an ugly duckling feel about it. And yeah, this, as I said, is, if you're into Studebakers, this is the garage for you to come and visit, although you'll never find it because I'm not telling you where it is. But there's probably enough parts here to build up several Studebakers. You see, here's another Gran Turismo. Beautiful, beautiful car. Just look inside there. Manual gearbox on the floor. Studebaker Lark 2-door. Very rare car. Most of them were 4 doors in the process of being restored. And yeah, Harley Davidson motorcycles as well. And a very rare 1960 mini pickup truck being restored. How lovely is that? And tucked away in that corner is a very special car. It is an original, unrestored, complete, standard, running, driving 1969 Holden Monaro GTS 2-door. Extremely sought after vehicle. Beautiful, beautiful thing, just awaiting revival. Lovely big workshop here, lots of space to work, and all these parts you see around the walls and on the walls are mostly Studebaker parts. Like I said, this is Studebaker heaven. Beautiful. Well, hello everybody, and today is Classic Car Day. I'm out today in this beautiful, beautiful area. This is Shark Bay, right next door to Langebaan, and it is a beautiful day. The kite surfers are out in force, but enough of that. Today's car is a 1968 MGC. This is my dad's MGC, and it is quite beautiful. Although I'm a Triumph man myself, I really do like it, but not quite as much as a TR6. I would have a TR6. It looks like an MGB, but it is not an MGB. It is a MGC, which is really an uprated MGB. MG were hoping to have a successor to the Austin Healey, which was their sort of big, muscular sports car of the time. But basically they were penniless and they didn't have any money. So what they ended up doing was taking the MGB monocoque platform and adapting it for a six-cylinder engine. Not exactly the six-cylinder engine from the Austin Healey, more of a derivative. I believe it was from the Westminster. But yes, a 3-litre straight six under the bonnet of what is essentially an MGB. There are other differences here apart from the badge. At the back, apart from the badge, you can't really tell. But from the front, you'll see there's a big bulge in the bonnet here. This big bulge here is to accommodate the bigger engine. And the bonnet is actually aluminium versus steel for the rest of the car. Seems pretty superficial changes, but really the big engineering is underneath. The entire front suspension of the MGB fouled the six-cylinder engine, so that was done away with. And the MGC actually has torsion bar front suspension. So that was quite a big change, and it's an easy way to tell a genuine MGC from an MGB with a six-cylinder engine. Nobody's going to go through the trouble of changing the suspension to torsion bar suspension. You can see under here we have torsion beam on the front suspension in order to make space for the rather large three-cylinder straight six. Now, just shy of 9,000 MGCs were built for a 2-year period only. So MGC is particularly rare. Only half of those, around 4,500, were roadsters. The rest were MGC GT coupes. So 2-year only model, visually very similar to the MGB. So it kind of gets discounted a lot of the time. But it's kind of like if you think of an MGB as being a British sports car, kind of lightweight, nimble, rorty, fun. This is heavier, a little bit more ponderous, more of a GT. You've got a lovely smooth six-cylinder, lovely sound, and great for long distances, much less tiring than the sporty MGB. Especially here in South Africa as well, the MGB is hugely popular. Very few MGCs, and the ones that are here are in fantastic condition because, of course, we don't have salt on the roads. And this one has been completely restored, belonging to Automotive Grace Senior. We've just had a nice long run into Cape Town, 2-hour drive, 4-hour return for the Crankhandle Club monthly seniors meeting, and it was just a beautiful, nice, long, smooth run. Fantastic car. And under the bonnet here, you can see that lovely 3-litre straight six Austin Healey derived engine. Nice, little bit oily, just the way I like it. Used twin SU carbs, power brakes, original spin-on filter, nice and original, and just runs beautifully. And if you watch the video from Bewley, where Dad and I were running around and getting some spares and things, you'll recall that Dad bought himself some nice spotlights at the Bewley Auto Jumble. Well, here they are. Cool, huh? Not too big, nice and subtle, fits in nicely. I think that was a good move. Now, one of the reasons why the MGC wasn't a huge success, especially not as MG were hoping that it would be a replacement for the Austin Healey, is, well, firstly, obviously it looks very similar to an MGB, but also the cars that were made available for journalists to test. Apparently, rumor has it their tires were quite underinflated. So when the journalists took the cars for a drive, it felt very heavy, ponderous, compared to the light and nimble MGB. So write-ups were bad. It was too late to fix the problem. And MGC was cancelled, yeah, as I said, 2 years later. Now to drive, that beautiful six-cylinder engine sounds good. It doesn't sound as strong as the numbers would suggest, which apparently is 145 horsepower. The biggest thing that strikes you really is the steering. In the straight ahead position and just off straight ahead, perfectly good. Anything more than about a quarter turn and it is very, very heavy. You need, even on the go, normally heavy steering on old cars to be expected, but it lightens up when you drive. Not so the MGC. As soon as you have to turn any sort of sharp angle, no thank you, it's tough. And here's the speed bump that catches everybody out in Langebaan. Doesn't look too bad, just over the crest of a hill, but it is quite the, oh, you can see by all the scrapes in the tarmac. Another lovely windy day for the kite surface. So my verdict, well, as you know, I'm a Triumph man, so I'm always going to lean towards the Triumph. Triumph TR6 engine feels more meaty, car feels a little bit more refined, and the steering is far more manageable. But if you like the looks of the MGB, but you don't want to be one of hundreds of thousands, this car would certainly appeal to you from a rarity perspective. Only 4,500 Roadsters worldwide, MGCs. Drives beautifully on the open road, sounds fantastic. If you can put up with the really, really heavy steering, I think it's definitely something which will be very enjoyable to own. Hello again, and today we're doing some exploring. Looking at some of the classic cars hidden away here in Langebaan. As I said, there's a big classic car culture here in Langebaan, and I'm going to show you another little secret lair. But just to begin with, just sitting outside here, owned by Eric Maton, Cortina Mark 1 GT with 1600 Kent cross-flow engine. Quite a few of these in South Africa, both in 2 and 4 door, but very popular for racing because they're inexpensive. You don't have the Lotus Cortina engine to worry about, and it looks like a lot of fun to drive. Nice, lightweight, reliable, strong engine, lots of potential for modifying. And yes, that is a Welsh flag you see there. This car was purchased from Eric Quibble, who's originally from Wales. But yeah, quite a few great classic cars here get raced in a very vibrant classic car series, and I'll show you another one once we get inside. Now you remember we were in a secret lair just the other day. Thanks again to Andre for letting us have a look in there, and that was Studebaker heaven, as I explained. Well, it's not the only place that has Studebakers. Check it out. 2 more Studebaker Hawk Grand Turismos, both right-hand drive, both manual. How cool is that? Look at that color. Lovely Rambler estate wagon with a Chevy LS V8. Very nice. Wagon is nice, isn't it? Slightly modded with the Chevy LS and bigger wheels. And if you like things that are completely different, have a look at this fantastic hot rod, powered by a Cummins turbo diesel. Quite a machine. Uh, 46 Ford body, or actually earlier than that. This is Eric's pride and joy, classic car. I think it's a 75. It's a Chevrolet DeVille, built in South Africa. Unlike the Chevrolet Constantia, which was a Australian derivative of the Holden, and these came out with Chevy 350 engines. And this is Eric's car that he races in the classic car series. And I can tell you from watching a race, it goes like you have no idea. This is one very, very, very fast car. Apparently around 800 Newton meters from the Chevy 350. And it's connected to an BMW E330 diesel 6-speed gearbox, which apparently is one of the few gearboxes that this car can actually not break. Currently just on the stand here, getting a bit of fettling. Lovely patinaed Comer pickup truck. The patina has been nicely sealed in with some clear coat. Fantastic look. And it's powered by a 4-cylinder 2.8 litre Isuzu turbo diesel, connected to 5-speed gearbox, has powered brakes, air conditioning, all the mod cons, and apparently is just a joy to drive. Have a look inside. They've done a really nice job with the upholstery. Ostrich leather inside. Just beautifully done, isn't it? Wow. Fantastic. And if you like split screen vans, as I do, you will love this one. This is a 1959 split screen van, currently undergoing restoration and modification. It's been restored. The body is restored. This is an original 59 with Cephamore indicators, as you can see up there. Currently on a rotisserie. Has raised floors. It's going to have a narrow front beam, and it'll have air ride suspension throughout. Also 4-door Chev Commando, awaiting restoration. Just had some of the rust repaired and is ready for further work. This is a 6-cylinder 230 with 3-speed, 3 on the tree. And if you like your Beatles, can't say I'm a huge fan, and there's one reason why I'm not a huge fan. That flat dashboard and flat windscreen somehow just doesn't work for me. However, this one is completely different. Let me show you. This is a curved windscreen Beetle. You see the curved windscreen here. Very nice. Makes all the difference, really, especially in the interior. Let me show you. See, a real dashboard. You don't feel as if you're sitting up against a glass wall. Well, special thanks to Eric. Thanks for letting me have a look around here in your little secret lair. Fantastic cars here, and just a small taste of what can be found here in Langebaan in South Africa.